Welcome to another episode of Weekly Stock Review. This is my weekly stock trading log. These are the positions that I opened. These are the positions that I closed. And the comments here, the blue ones are things that I think I did well. And the red ones are things that I think I could improve on. For the week, this is about how much I gained. It's about 90% gain, which is really good. But as you can see on the chart, there are a lot of red writings. And honestly, I've only had one winning trade, and the other 5 were losing trades. So performance-wise, I wasn't very happy with my performance. So let's go over what I could have done better and what I can improve on going forward. Just few trades that I want to touch upon. First one is this Starbucks trade. We'll count this one and this one as the same trade because they occurred on the same day. And essentially, I was trying to capture the exact same thing with both trades. It's just the first one, I didn't really enter it well. The second one, I did, which was my only winning trade for the week. So this was March 31st. The first trade was made at around 10:05 a.m. Pacific time. So let's go to the chart. Let's see. This is Starbucks. 10:31 is here. 10:05. Okay, so this is about where I made the trade. As you can see, there's a downward trend here. I think I did draw that after the fact, but that's what I was looking at, as well as probably on the 5-minute. No, this is a 5-minute chart, as well as the daily chart. But it didn't really pan out as, hold on here. Okay, so this is what I entered, and then it quickly reversed position for a little bit, and then it went down as I was planning to. So the first trade I got in at 10:05, then I got out at 10:58 because it broke the pattern that I was looking at. So 10:58 around here. Yeah, so it broke this very small mini top resistance, or it looked like it was going to. So I exited. About the exit, I think I was on the money actually. When you enter, you have to have a exit strategy, and that was my strategy. I planned it, I executed it, no matter what happened afterwards. However, I think upon entering, that was when I made the mistake of, I think I was looking at a bigger time chart, aka the 5-day chart, and perhaps even the 10-day chart, and determined on the pattern or the trend. So let's see, 331. Yeah, this bigger trend on the 10-day chart. I thought it would go down, but as I wrote here, I was focusing on the 5-day chart, the 10-day charts, but I entered it with a mindset of doing a daily trade, and that's why there was incongruency. So I entered at the wrong time. I think for the purpose of the daily trade, I got out when it was correct to do so. Again, regardless of what happened afterwards. Now, a little bit later in the day, 12:43, I entered. It's pretty much exact same trade. Starbucks, same expiration date. The strike price is a little bit lower because I think the price has moved down from around 10 to 12:43 p.m. So this one, now there was congruency in what I was trying to achieve and the trend that I was looking at. I was still looking at the bigger trend, the 5-day chart, the 10-day chart, as well as daily chart now had the same kind of trend, and it was coming off the top resistance. And this was going to be overnight trade, which is a little bit more congruent for longer term. So let's go back to 331. and this was about 1243. That's about here between this bar and this bar right here. So now, as you can see, this downward trend line, I think on the daily chart, it hit just the top of this trend line and then bounced off of it. So everything kind of lined up. Yes, it definitely could have gone up, but based on the daily, 5-day, 10-day charts, everything was kind of pointing downward. So I entered it and it paid off really, really well. Now, exiting that trade the very next day, I got a really quickly right off the bat. 631, then 632. So let's go back here to April 1st. Where is that? It's probably this one. Yeah. So obviously, starting off, it went way down, about 3.75%, and then right off it went all the way down to about 6%. Now, the week before this, I kind of got burnt by what I call being too cute. What I mean is, so if you look at this trade, this is the week before, same stock actually, Starbucks. I had a winning trade, but I tried to get a little too cutesy, a little too fancy, and among the 25 options I sold, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be cute. I'm gonna take profit here. So sold five, and then it obviously reversed direction. So then the last trade, when I was trading 9 of them, it went all the way down to 68 cents instead of at the top about 94 cents, or I think it even went up to like $1.05, where it could have been much better profit. So this time, let's actually go to the daily chart for this. 5 days, 1 minute. 4-1 should have a big bounce. There we go. Okay. So I was already in the positive because it's about 4% lower, but then right out of the gate, it went straight down, all the way down here, and then it quickly bounced up. Now 631, so I sold half of my position, and then I probably should have tried to sell all of my position, and even I think splitting it in two was being a little bit cute, but I had a lot of cushion for this particular trade. And overall, I only divided to 2 and quickly sold the rest of my position about a minute after. As you can see, it bounced up 2% in 2 minutes. So I consider that a pretty good close. As you can tell, really big win there. Now, after that trade, I had 3 pretty bad trades. I didn't like any of them, actually. So let's quickly go over them. So again, Starbucks. This is April 1st, 12:27. All right. So April 1st, 12:27. So it's towards the end. Let's actually go back to 5-minute chart. April 1st, 12:27, towards the end. 12:27? Okay. 12:25, 27. Okay. So here, couple things with this. Obviously, there's a not strong, but there is a downward trend. But one, this was a little too far off of the trend line. So, it bounced off the top, bounced off of it, and then it went down. So it had this little bit of wiggle room. It did play relatively well for a little bit, and then towards the end, towards the close, boom. I mean, that's almost 2% gain. That's ridiculous. So what should I have done instead? Well, this was going to be an overnight trade. It was planned so at the beginning. So if that was the case, I probably should have waited towards the end a little bit more before opening a position. The reason being, there's a lot, as you can see by the volume, these blue bars are the volume. As you can see, towards the end, last like 15 minutes or so, huge volume, much more volume than the rest of the day, beginning and the end of the market. So I should have waited for this instead of trying to capture this, whatever this little downward movement it is. Also, as you can tell from the RSI, it's pretty much at the 30 level, which means it might bounce. Not only that, in the bigger chart or bigger time frame, let's see, 401, where's 401? Here we go. Okay, so this trend line, this big one here, is what I'm looking at. Right here, all the way from back here, going down. So this is the beginning of the downward trend. Bounced, went down, tried to get up, bounced here, and then later on, here maybe a little bit, bounced again, went down. But where I purchased it, 401 around here, it's way too far from the upper trend line, upper resistance trend line. So probably wasn't too good of an entry, even when looking at a overnight position. Now it's very unfortunate that the very next morning news broke out of Luckin Coffee being basically faking their revenue or something like that. So Starbucks actually, based on that news, bounced, what is that? Oh, geez. All the way up to almost 10% in the morning. That part, I mean, I couldn't have predicted that would happen overnight. So, that part, it's whatever. You can't control it. You can't prevent it, or not prevent it. You can't predict it. I think for the selling part, I did okay. I did wait. It went all the way up, and then I did wait a little bit, so it went down. Was able to recoup some of the loss. It was still a very, very big loss, but fortunately, position-wise, it wasn't that big. And then afterwards, the last two trades was based on Apple. This one, not much to really say. I think chart-wise, it was okay. It was okay entry. Got out when the trend broke the pattern that I was looking for. The only thing is the expiration date, it was 4/3. This was April 2nd, which means the theta is super, super high. So what I noticed afterwards was I couldn't give the chart to pan out because I was being chased by theta. So nothing wrong with the entry or the exit. It's just doing it this close of expiration date. It forces me, or it requires me to be correct on both the timing and the trend pattern itself, which is super difficult. On top of that, I think in certain situations, it's okay to go for these kind of big payoff, but for these kinds of big payoff trades, my position size was way too big. It should have been more like this one, or even this one. This was a over the weekend trade, so I knew it could have gone either way with a lot of news coming out. So my position size obviously was much, much smaller. Um, again, this, if you notice, if you're doing these trading logs and you notice a certain topic or certain comment popping up pretty often or multiple times, then you know that's something that you need to work on. High theta. I think I was chasing here a little bit. So both this one and this one, probably the expiration date needed to be at least out to April 9th. The last one, I was probably a loser to even before opening a position, just because mentally, I had a loss here, I had a loss here. This is all in the same day, all April 2nd. So double loss. Mentally, I wasn't there. And I even commented, I wasn't being proactive enough. I wasn't really thinking. I was reacting. If we take a quick peek, this was 11:09 on April 2nd. So let's see. This is April 2nd. 11:09. That's the wrong day. April 2nd. Okay. 11:09. It's about here. So yeah, 11:09. It barely just kind of broke below this resistance line. And obviously afterwards it went up. But yeah, this was pretty weak. I mean, yeah, I don't even know what to say. It was just a bad trade. Like, I didn't have a clear goal. I didn't have a clear plan. I was just kind of chasing it. Oh, like it looks like it's, Oh, this is Starbucks. I'm sorry. Wrong stock. Okay, this should help. Okay. Yeah, so right about here. 11:09. Yep, so I bought it here. That's that's not pretty. It should have been either a little bit higher up where it broke this many resistance, or if I missed this entry, should have gone this entry. Obviously, this trend line probably was drawn after the fact, but you still had, this what is that, open price resistance. And if I was watching it closer, as soon as this, there was MACD crossover, I should have entered the position and then should have gotten out much earlier. I think I got out 12:09. 12:09 is probably, yeah. I mean, it reversed here, right? There was another MACD crossover here. Went up. 12:09 is all the way up here. So I was waiting up until this resistance, this line right here. Yeah, waited way too long, entered way too late. My mind wasn't in there after disappointing trades, this one, and so I lost even more money. So when your mind's not like that, when your mind's not right, then you just need to get out and just, relax. At least for me, because if I'm trading with that kind of mindset, these are the types of trades that I make, which just I lose money on. So that was it. I do have a small position open right now over the weekend. We'll see how that goes. I did make this mistake again. If buying it overnight or over the weekend, should have bought it closer to the market close, but I bought it a little too early and the position reversed it a little bit, so I'm already down a little bit. But we'll see what happens on Monday. One thing I do want to comment on is I call this is a casino effect. So basically, I had a really big win right here, right? But then afterwards, all three of them Maybe except for, well, no, this one too. All three trades afterwards were, I would say, not ideal. All right, it was bad, and the mentality behind it, I think, is when you go to casino and you win some money off the bat, then you start thinking, oh, like I have some money that I can, afford to lose, and I'll still be even. So then you make plays that you normally wouldn't make, or you would bet bigger, or something like that, or best case scenario would be getting out with that positive money, but you think to yourself, oh, I have some excess money now that I can afford to lose and still come out even. If I lose this much money, I'm still even for the night. So then you get dumb and you make dumb moves, and I think that's pretty much what happened. So after this big win, I'm like, oh, like, even if I lose a little bit of money, I'm still up, which is what happened, right? I lost, this is about pretty much $1,000, I think. I lost $1,000 and I was still up this much for the week. But that's not the point. The point is to be consistent, to not have these kind of stupid moves, stupid trades, and to continue to be on the right course and be right mentally and be consistent. I think that's the key to being a trader, being consistent no matter the gain or no matter the loss. So that's the big takeaway for this week, I think. Next week, hopefully, I'll be able to cut down on some of these mistakes, and there will be a lot more blue comments rather than the red comments. The P&L, I mean, yes, obviously it's important because it's the bottom line, but I'm more concerned about building good fundamentals, being consistent. So these comments are what I'm more concerned about at the moment. Obviously, I would like to have positive P&L and a lot of blue comments, but for now, if I had to choose one, I would choose being more consistent and being or having positive themed trades rather than some small losses here and there. All right. Thank you for tuning in. Please, if you struggle with similar things, or if you are able to solve these kind of issues, please comment below. Let me know what you did to improve yourself, or if you're still struggling with it, please comment, and we can try to improve together as a community of traders. All right, thanks a lot, and I'll see you next week.